Hello everybody, welcome to the Tribulation Institute. My name is Jeff Forrester. You know, I'm sure by now everybody is aware of these mysterious drones and the orbs as well. You know, there's more than one thing going on here, and I'm going to explain it to you. I've been studying this for 40 years, and you really do need to at least listen to me before you turn me off concerning such. You know, I believe we live in the modern times right now in the most dangerous and deceptive time in modern history. And there's things that are already happening and are going to continue to happen that are all designed for you to believe the false narrative. You know, if you don't already know, which I believe you do, you know, there's nothing that we see on the internet or YouTube that they do not want us to see. And you also need to understand that AI is controlling, they're allowing, the governments of the world, they're allowing AI to control them. And of course, it's Satan that controls, it says in Psalms 2, says the kings of the earth conspire together. And that's what you see going on. So, I want to leave a link to an article that I published, a couple decades ago about good and bad aliens. And I think that you need to see it first. Read it, see it, whatever. Before I publish part 2, which is going to put everything that's going on together concerning these drones, these orbs, and our government lying to us and what narrative that they want us to believe. Time is getting short, people. We are in the birth pangs.
Were anomalies that you captured on your camera?
The original footage had a glowing ball of light that was in every single video that I ended up downloading. This ball of light was included. And there were a particular pattern of lights associated with it, which gave an outline to what would look like some sort of a craft or a vehicle. Once I saw that, I became intrigued because I realized something was there. And after a couple of weeks, I noticed a shipyard area that had a lot of activity as far as strange lights, and some of these craft that I considered, UFOs at the time, were always heading in that direction or involved in that area. So as I focused in on that area, I started to see the anomalies that I ended up catching through it. You know, Ken, it's hard to explain. It's not just black and white. It just doesn't jump out at you. It's almost some kind of the way I put it, it's some kind of an interdimensional transference of one reality that seems to be bleeding into another, because you can pick up these shapes and these figures that are associated with these particular lights that you're speaking of.
When you say figures, are you talking about ships now or something?
I'm talking figures, characters.
What do you mean? What do you mean characters?
More related to animal type shapes or a humanoid type of a shape, a body figure or the physique of a humanoid type of a figure. And that intrigued me again. Once you'd see something like that, it wasn't just there, but if you looked close enough, you would see blending into the reality, you would see behind the scenes almost, see this anomaly, coming in and out of focus, as if it was there, but wasn't in this realm.
I have a couple days to be here
Sure.
with you, and I want to film some of these things and see if what you're telling us is the truth.
I'm game. I would love the company because
Okay.
I've been doing it on my own.
Today, we've come to Steve's house. He's graciously invited us in so that we can talk a little bit more intimately about some of the things he's discovered. You know, Steve, it's hard to get serious about this whole thing because it's so surreal. I mean, most people, when it comes to spiritual things like this, they kind of run. They don't want to think about it. They get frightened by it, or they get intimidated, or it's not part of their general thinking. So when we talk about spirituality and spiritual phenomena like this, it's hard to get it out and talk to people about it. I'd like to talk about some of the things that you've filmed and get into some of the specifics so that we can get a more detailed understanding of what is actually happening here and this phenomena that you say, and what Google Earth is telling us, is worldwide. What is very difficult to understand by the human mind is how holographic images seem to be able to work. We can't seem to wrap our mind around the idea that something can change from one form to another in this physical realm. We're used to seeing stuff like that in the movies, but in actuality, that's another story. What you're about to see will be a demonstration of how that can take place in the natural realm. And I believe this is the one where you and I were filming up on the levee the night I came into town.
Yep.
And you were directing our vision to these lights. And as we were shooting, something very amazing manifested through the lights. I don't understand how it all works. I'm at a loss, but somehow morphing is done through these lights. Well, this is the image we caught, and it looks like a monk in a robe, in a robe that goes down to the feet, and you can see a beard on this entity, and it's almost Christ-like looking. It's an amazing image, and this is the one we shot the very first night I arrived, and we shot it from the levee that borders the Mississippi River. You know, as I look at this, I notice there's a dark being right here. You can see an outline, and another one right over here. So there's actually a being.
You're right.
Can you see those two?
Yeah, sure can.
So there's, it's interesting, as you look at this stuff, you begin to see other images, and it's not like your eyes are playing tricks on you, they're actually there. You just don't notice them until you look around and focus, and it's just amazing what's coming out of this light.
It's as odd as you can imagine, you know, when you see that kind of stuff.
Let's go to another one.
Sure.
Whoever or whatever is behind these remarkable images we're seeing seems to be able to use existent life forms to sculpt holographic images. There's three particular ones we'd like to call your attention to on this screen. One right in the center of the screen that kind of looks like the development of a human or humanoid. One at the lower left knee of that image, which looks like an owl or a frog, and one to the upper right of the screen that kind of looks like an animal or a dog or something. In the first image in the center of the screen, it seems to be sculpted out of different lights that outline the torso, and then the legs. As you can see, we're scrolling up and down with the arrow pointing out the torso of this particular thing. It's also at times impregnated with eyes that are quite large, and it seems as though this thing shapeshifts from the face of a man to almost like a devil look with huge eyes. This image seems to shapeshift continually throughout, but as you'll see, it's very interesting and quite remarkable. Here it can be clearly seen that the image has the face of a man, and
You see, with the last time that I was in, I wish I was able to concentrate a lot more. Maybe I'm going to be able to now, because like I said, I connected with this elderly man who was from way back. He said it's his particular house, and that's where the Wallace name came from. Like I said, I didn't know if it was the last name, the first name. And he was telling me things. He was telling me the Wallace have eyes, and I wasn't quite sure what that meant. He talked about this house holds a secret. He talked about the well. He talked about the previous owner, the man. He called him Lewis. No, the man. He called him Lewis. And then he was talking about one of the sons, the son and the man. And then he was talking about the girl, but only one girl in particular. He says she talks to herself. She's not right in the head anymore. Then they're showing me things like today here downstairs when those other people are around, because it was just when I'm doing what I'm doing, it's almost like everything kind of disappears. And I always, like I said, I hate when other people are around because they'll spurt things out. And then I just try to ignore everything. But downstairs, as I was telling you, like I can hear screaming. And I can hear this man's voice. And then I see this picture. And I can see the woman very, very clearly because she has dark hair, like dark. I don't know if I want to call it black, but it's a little bit wavy. But it's it's shoulder length or what have you. And I can see him grabbing her by the back of the head and ripping back, and I can see the hair in his hands of that as well, like downstairs. And it's just so chaotic. It's so chaotic. And then I get the scene of a girl upstairs rocking and talking to herself. So it's just, it's not good.
Body again is outlined, as you can see, as it's pointed out by the arrows, all the way from the shoulders down to the right leg, all the way to the feet. And to the upper right corner, you can see the image looking down as though it's observing these two entities being formed. As we press on, the face begins to change to something more demonic looking and grotesque, almost like a mask that you'd see. And so what we're showing you is this imagery that seems to be sculpted. There's one with a very demonic face on it, as you can see. And now one with full of eyes. You can also see that the genital area is kind of covered over with a dark shadow, so you have no idea of the sexuality of this entity. Once again, in the upper right hand corner, you see the face of, looks like a puppy dog there, watching in as these creatures develop. And it's quite fascinating and quite busy. There's one with the huge eyes in the center of the top of the head. And there, one just alarmingly looking at us, and maybe you've been looking at the photographer that's shooting it. And then here, one impregnated with lights, again with huge eyes, and the dog looking down, or the face of that being in the upper right-hand corner looking down. What we've shown to this point are perhaps 20 images of holographic forms that comprise just a small portion of the numerous shots that we have of these strange things that we're seeing into the spiritual world. Steve, explain what's happening here. Tell us what you're seeing.
And there's going to be a UFO that I noticed above the porch, my neighbor's porch, and that's what I was concentrating on.
But you happen to notice an image that's being shot on this wall. So you're in a frame of mind, you're all catching all kinds of stuff, and there's an image on this wall. How does it there? This light's on, and all of a sudden we see this image, strange image on the wall.
Those images seem to manifest in the general area of a UFO. It affects tree lines, it affects a couple of different aspects of the reality that's in that particular area, that general area. Here is the UFO that I spotted over the, again, the neighbor's porch, trying to follow it as it was flying by. And here is a segment of that footage where I froze the frame and took a look at what was actually behind the light. And as I went frame by frame, I was just amazed at what I saw. It's just very interesting, and it's eye-opening. At this point, you can almost see a figure, a head type of a shape at the top of the light.
And then over here, what are we seeing over here?
That looks to me like another reptilian type of a head. It actually looks like it's looking around as frame by frame as you move forward. It looks like it's actually checking out the area.
Almost like that's the guidance system for the UFO, which is masquerading as an airplane.
And you mentioned it earlier, that these seem to be entities actually morphing or disguising themselves as UFOs. And you're talking about something that deceives people.
That's a great shot right there of the UFO, and then that image that's being cast by this light. Have you gone back to see if that image is there?
The image is not, and the image would not have been visible with the naked eye at the time.
That's right.
That's one of the keys. The image is never visible with the naked eye. What is visible are the lights, and they very well may be real.